Hey, I'm Evette Rios, Rachel's design buddy, and I'm here in a kitchen that I recently made over. And I'm going to show you guys how to make your own composter. Because listen to this. This is something I didn't know. When you throw your food away in the trash, it ends up in a landfill and it does not turn into nice fertile soil. Instead, it just rots there because there's not oxygen and it's not being turned. So in this kitchen, I actually installed this really cool composter. And how this works is you pull it out like this, you stick your food in the top, and then it turns into soil here in the bottom in about 2 weeks. Something like this, although it's super cool, will set you back about a couple $100, but I'm going to show you how to make your own composter for less than 10. Creating your own under $10 composter is super duper easy. What you want to do is you want to start out with a container like this one that's got a nice tight sealing lid on it and something about 24 inches tall. That's a really good size to get started. And then you're going to layer it with newspaper, a little soil, and then start adding your food. Super duper easy. So here's how we get started. So I've already made some holes in the top of my lid using a drill. I'll show you guys how to do that. But now you need to make some holes in the bottom. You want to make sure you make about 8 to 10 holes in the top and in the bottom. That's very important because it keeps the air flowing and it makes sure that the food that you put inside decomposes just right. So I've got my cordless drill here, and I've got about a 1/4 inch bit in there. That's the perfect size to make the holes you need. So I'm going to start over here. Okay, so you know what, if you don't have an electric drill like this, which everybody should because they're super handy, but if you don't happen to have one, you can always make holes in plastic by taking a nice thick nail and warming it up with either a lighter or a candle to get it nice and hot, and then you can pop it through the plastic and you'll make beautiful holes like this without having a cordless drill. So I'm going to flip it over, and then my first layer, the layer that goes down at the bottom, is actually going to be newspapers. So I just took regular newspapers and cut them into strips, and I'm just going to layer it down at the bottom. You can add newspapers. A great way to get it started is with leaves also. If you happen to have leaves that you've raked up, go ahead and throw those at the bottom. And you're going to fill this up about a 1/4 of the way with all of your newspaper and leaves and things like that. So once you've got that layered in, I've got some little rubber gloves here. If you don't happen to have gloves, you can always use a trowel or some sort of little garden tool to scoop in some soil. And you can use soil from your garden, or if you don't happen to have soil, you can always buy a bag of potting soil like I have here. And what you're going to do is you're just going to layer in some of the potting soil on top of your newspaper. There we go. And now I'm just going to kind of smooth it out so it covers up all of our newspaper, like that. And now you're going to grab your garbage bowl from your kitchen that has any leftover food, bread, eggshells, and just kind of toss it in there. When you're composting, you want to remember you really don't want to include acidic foods like lemons, limes, things like that. Those you can just toss away because that doesn't really make for good compost. And you're just going to mix it in like this. And then I'm going to add just a little bit of water, just to make sure that the soil is nice and moist. You don't want to add too much because that'll make it a little stinky, so you just want to add a little bit. And then as you're adding food, you know, once you clean out your garbage bowl at the end of the day, you want to make sure you add it to your compost and just sort of mix it around. And you'll know when your compost is ready when it all looks like this beautiful soil with very little chunks. Then you're ready to take it out. Make sure you leave the chunks behind because those still need some time to biodegrade. So you put your lid on, and you want to make sure you store this in a cool, dry place like a garage or on a patio. Don't put this in the direct sun. And there you go, a quick, affordable way that you can do your part to help the environment. Thanks so much for watching.